Hey guys, guess what? I've finally gotten my hands on the new Five Nights at Freddy's Funko action figures. The brand new ones! This time the set mainly focuses on the Nightmare animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's 4, with the exception of one character, but we'll get to that later. First off, I just have to say how happy I am that there are more of these being made. I loved the first set so much they actually took over my entire dresser, just because they look so darn cool. And there's so much you can do with them too, taking them apart, posing them, making salvages. It's too fun not to do. Now before we dive right in, there are a few things I want to mention that I find quite strange. I'm sure you're all asking the same questions too. Like for one, why on earth did Funko decide to go to the FNaF 1 crew and then suddenly jump to the nightmares from FNaF 4? That skips 2 games. In fact, that skips about 3 whole sets worth. I can imagine that there could have been one set with all the toy animatronics, one set with the withered animatronics, and another with all the phantoms, just between those 2 games. And although you may think that they can't now since they've already used Springtrap and Funtime Foxy, there's still enough characters to make those sets just fine. So I really hope they do end up going back to those guys. Because as you and I both know, if Funko makes another set, it's undoubtedly gonna be Sister Location. Sister Location made such a huge stir in the FNaF community and is a huge moneymaker for these companies. It would be dumb for them not to make a set on them, and I really hope they do. I know they aren't going to give us the ability to remove faceplates or anything, but imagine how cool it'd be to have a Funtime Freddy with little removable bonbon, and an Ennard figure would be just so darn cool. So really, I don't exactly know why Funko decided to make the Nightmares, let alone 2 non-canon characters. But hey, I'm not complaining. I've always been a huge fan of Nightmarian's design. In fact, I've even made a speed paint just about him. But sadly, just like our Endo friend from FNaF 1, Funko did skip some characters. I'm not saying I'm surprised they did though. It's not like they could just make everyone, because certain ones just won't sell as well as the others, and they don't want a set to have too many different characters. I am really sad that Plushtrap was one of the skipped characters though, because he's a big part of FNaF 4. It would have been nice if he was just made like a little Freddle and stuck with Nightmare Bonnie. Not to mention the fact that we only got 1 Freddle, and that really sucks. If you want all 3, you're gonna have to get 3 full Nightmare Freddys. And 3 Nightmarian legs. It would have been super nice if Funko put 2 of the other Freddles in the other sets. As for other characters that were skipped, there was of course the non-canon Jack-o-Bonnie and Nightmare Mangle. That brings up why on earth was Jack-o-chica made into an exclusive, when there are much better choices like what I'm about to bring up. Where is the main character of this game? Even though we get to see the Nightmares, we're missing the main guy, or maybe in some opinions, the main 2 guys. Nightmare Fredbear and Nightmare himself. These guys are really big deals in the game, and Funko just skipped them. I'm really hoping in future sets, like possibly the Sister Location one, we can maybe see a Nightmare Fredbear as the collect each piece character. It would be really sad if we never got an awesome figure of him. Now let's bring up the other elephant in the room. Funtime Foxy. Now I know some of you more casual fans are about to get your rage on. This is named incorrectly. That's Fixed Mangle or Toy Foxy. Funtime Foxy from Sister Location actually looks like this. But actually the truth is, Funko did label this figure correctly. Scott named 2 characters the exact same thing. The character in FNaF 2 known as the Mangle actually used to be a normal character just like the other toys. That is, until she was taken apart by the children. So then she wasn't always called the Mangle. You might want to instantly assume she was called Toy Foxy just like the way the other characters were named, but that's not the case. A game not part of the main series actually proved this. FNaF World is where we got to see exactly how Mangle was before she was broken. In adventure form, of course. And along with how she looks, we also get to find out her old name, Funtime Foxy. Yes, that's very confusing for Scott to do to us, but it makes sense. I mean, if you really wanted to differentiate these 2 characters, you could always call this one Toy Funtime Foxy. But anyway, no, Funko did not mess up. But at the same time, it is really odd for us to be getting this character in this set. It really does seem out of the blue. The only time we even see her in FNaF 4 was in the minigames, and she was broken. Either way, I'm still happy this figure exists. I mean, just look at how darn cute she is! Her whole body is very smooth, and it makes me really want the toy animatronics to have a set too. Also, her joints are much more sturdy and stiff this time around. The limbs don't just pop right off or anything, and I'm really glad for this. I really love the little pirate hook in the pink bottoms. Too bad she doesn't have the pink nails. Oh wait, she does have the pink nails. Those were her feet all along? Okay, Mangle in the vent is now 10 times more creepy. Funko did mess up on her paint a little though. Instead of just being the nails painted pink, the action figure has pink toes, and her bottom jaw is also pink, which is inconsistent with Mangle. But it's obvious why this mistake was made in the first place. Since Funko didn't actually have a real reference for this figure, They had to use the adventure version from FNaF World, which they actually did a great job of. Although you and I both know how inaccurate the adventures look compared to the real animatronics. So really, this was a bit of a mashup of the adventure Funtime Foxy and the idea of fixed Mangle. As confusing as that is. In the end, I don't think they did that bad of a job. I'm really happy she got a tail, although it's kind of weird her eyelashes are coming out of the top of her eyelid, rather than where they should be. This can also be blamed on Adventure Funtime Foxy, but from a distance, it really looks like she just has some super bushy eyebrows, comparable to Chica's. One last thing that also kind of bothers me is how her joints are silver, but all the toy characters have colored joints. I bet the artists working on this figure got really confused. Now let's take a look at our main FNaF 4 Nightmare friends, starting with Nightmare Freddy. I have to give it to the guys at Funko, they really got the look of him down. The bulky wide shoulders, the sharp claws, the half ear. Seems like every tear and rip is incredibly close to him in-game. They got his bow tie a little wrong shape-wise, but that's not that big of a deal. I would have liked him to be a bit of a darker brown and his eyes to be silver like they actually are, but other than that, he looks amazing. I really love this figure. Look inside his torso, you can actually see his endo in there. It's not just painted on. In fact, it even gives them more mobility than the FNaF 1 guys. These ones can actually turn on this. Is that cool or what? And look at the adorable little Freddle. I actually didn't know the Freddle had only 3 fingers and 2 toes, but that seems to be the case. I really don't have any issues with him. He looks awesome. I just wish we had more! Next up, Nightmare Bonnie. Just looking at him, I'm in awe. The 3 jointed ears, the ripped up eyelids, the whiskers, the giant endo in his chest. This figure is spot on. I absolutely love it. The bow tie is also not the correct style for the Nightmares, but that really isn't that big of a deal. The fact that his eyes are actually white is much better than how Nightmare Freddy's are. But it does make sense why they made Freddy's eyes black, because they look very dark in his jump scares. Bonnie just looks amazing though. Have you seen his endo hand? That's just perfect. His feet are also super cool. I'm just really satisfied with this figure. He's probably one of my favorites. Next up, Nightmare Chica. As soon as I look at her, I just want to gush about how amazing she looks. She captures the feel of real Nightmare Chica perfectly. She just looks so angry and vicious. Her arms are incredibly beat up, her bib is basically a rag. There are a few issues though. For one, she doesn't have a blue eye. That eye is supposed to be white, or empty really. And not exactly black either. All their eyes should have been dark gray, not black on some and then white on others. And weirdly, she's holding the cupcake in the wrong hand. Chicas always hold the cupcake in their left hand on a plate. Though, honestly, I love how she's got her fingers around it, it just seems more angry. And maybe they could have made those teeth a little bigger. Nightmare Chica has always been known for those endless giant teeth. Now let's take a look at the fan favorite, Nightmare Foxy. I still can't believe how amazing these guys look. Each one of them captures the feel of the real characters very well, and so does Nightmare Foxy. It's almost like he's grinning, anxious to run into your bedroom and ruin your night. They got the eye, head, and body shape spot on, and just look at those feet! I really like how he looks. Once again, the eyes are black, and I think the lighter color on his chest and face is too much on the pinkish side. But those were the only real issues I could see. All around, Nightmare Foxy looks spooky as ever. Now for our GameStop exclusive figure, Jack-o-chica. Still a very strange choice to have with this set, but I don't really mind, I think it's neat. The figure is slightly oranger color than Nightmare Chica, but besides that and the cupcake, there aren't really too many different things between them. The dirty look is different as well, but that might be something different from figure to figure, I'm not really too sure. The pumpkin doesn't look too good. The shape is spot on, but the paint is too flat, and the stem isn't even colored. A shame, really. They also really should have stepped up their game and had the torso painted to be more glowy, in my opinion. This is a pretty bad exclusive. They could have done much better. Now for the final character we've all been waiting for, Nightmarion. I really love the way these sets have a collectible guy once you get all of them. It's really exciting. The last set they gave Foxy the Springtrap torso and head, which I think Funko found out was a big mistake. Seeing how Foxy is already a super popular character, and poor Chica is the exact opposite, it makes sense that Funko most likely sold many more Foxys thanks to the fact that he is Foxy, and comes with the best part of Springtrap. Chica, on the other hand, is always a little harder to sell, especially with the plushies, since her design was so bad. This time Funko put the head and torso of Nightmarion with Nightmare Chica, most likely forcing you guys to buy Chica. Nightmarion was a really cool guy to collect. He's super creepy and seemingly well made. Only one really big problem with him though are his limbs. When it came time for me to put them on, it was incredibly difficult. In fact, I was worried I wouldn't get them on. And now, even when they are on, I can't move them much or they'll pop off again. Pretty disappointing. Not to mention how messy the paint on his face is. Despite all that, he's still a really cool guy to show off. But if you really aren't that big of a fan of Nightmarian in the first place, he probably isn't worth working for. And that's it for this review, guys. It's been really fun messing around with all these new guys. I really can't wait for Funko to make more. I just adore them. Probably my most favorite FNaF merchandise of all time. Can you imagine how cool it would be to have a baby action figure? Maybe she'd come with a cute little bitty bab. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you all have an awesome night. Goodbye!
Don't forget to like and subscribe, or else you will die.